incredible. This stuff didn't put your men in danger, did it?
No, that's okay. They quite enjoyed moving this old stuff.
Is it all right if it stays here for a while?
Yeah, it's fine. We've got to reassess the foundations again anyway.
Can you hear something?
What the hell is it?
Ask you something?
Of course.
Your dress. Why do you want to get married in it?
Why? Well, I suppose it's a bit of a sad story to begin with. You see, my parents died when I was very young. I had no other living relatives, so I was left at a boarding school for orphans. It was a truly horrible place. The only belongings I had when I arrived were a collection of old letters and plays that once belonged to an 18th century actress called Amelia Talbot. I must have read those letters 1,000 times each. As a child, I used to act out all of Amelia's roles, pretending to be a princess or a queen, or just some plucky heroine who travels the globe.
Never heard of her.
Oh gosh, in her day, Amelia Talbot was the biggest stage star there was. Amelia was cast in over 100 plays, including the first ever all-female production of Hamlet. She even founded a school for young girls from impoverished backgrounds. So you can probably guess she became something of a hero of mine. Anyway, this dress is based on something she might have worn. It's my way of honouring her memory.
It's just a little unconventional.
Unconventional. I like that.
I'll get you dressed in the morning, but you'll need to organise your own transport to the church.
Can't wait. Thanks so much, Michelle.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
14th of June 1812. I find myself increasingly asked what it was that inspired me to become an actress. I usually make up a vague answer about destiny, and how the theatre was always my natural calling in life. The truth is far more simple, perhaps even a little strange. You see, growing up I suffered from a dreadful illness, one that even my own family thought I would never recover from. But it was during this time that I met the most remarkable person imaginable, a medieval storyteller called Caspero. And he would visit me, night after night, and he would tell me the most extraordinary stories I had ever heard. Years later, my father assured me no one like that ever actually visited me, and that I must have imagined such a person as a way of helping me to cope with my illness. But, real or not, Caspero was there for me when nobody else was. Without him, I surely would not have survived the illness. It was he who inspired me, first by capturing my imagination, and then by capturing my heart. Imaginary he may have been, but I loved him nonetheless. A part of me always will. Caspero inspired me to follow my dreams by becoming an actress, and I am eternally grateful to have met him. Even now, I find myself wondering, if he had been real, what would he be like today?
So I told him, you don't want your assets freezing, try banking in Australia. I'll call you back later.
Read it.
Rigoletto, 5th of October, upper balcony.
Well, you know who did this, don't you? Francesca Dale. She hates me. That's why we're in the upper balcony, George, when I know she has room in the box. I know it. I know she does.
Martha, this deal hasn't been signed yet and you're already wasting all their money on opera tickets.
There's nothing wasteful about ensuring the security of our social standing.
We are not going to have any social standing if this deal falls through and you've spent all our money.
Do you honestly think that delicate little flower is going to back out now?
Hello. I was just wondering...
Listen, kid, I've told you, if there are any updates, we'll contact you. But we are heir hunters, remember? That means we hunt down heirs, as in people who have been left money. So unless members of your extended family are now deceased and have left you a pile of cash, we are not going to be able to trace them, no matter how many times you ask.
Actually, I just came by to invite you both to my wedding tomorrow.
Well, listen, kid, that's a kind offer and all, but we have a big deal that we need to close this week, so we may not have much time.
Well, if you can, there's a space for you. Bye.
Amelia, where are you? They won't keep me from you. I'll find you. I'll find you.
Miss Taunton? Miss Taunton? Miss Elizabeth Taunton from Queensgate School?
Yes?
My name is Linda Carlton. My daughter Freya is a pupil of yours.
Oh, of course. I know Frey, a member of my after-school arts class. She's a lovely girl.
Well, suddenly all I've heard from Freya is how you're encouraging them to visit dangerous, disease-ridden countries.
If it's India you're referring to, then yes, I'm hoping to arrange a visit to another school in Delhi at the end of the year.
India? Are you mad? Or do you simply enjoy the reckless endangerment of young children?
The trip will be organised with the utmost care, I assure you. It's only meant to help broaden their horizons
Before what?
before I leave.
Oh, that's right. Whirlwind marriage and move up to London, I hear. Planning on being the big girl in the big city, are we? I've seen the likes of you before. Abusing your position of trust, polluting young minds with your hippie propaganda and bohemian lifestyles. Well, know this. My husband is an influential benefactor of the school, and I intend for him to crush this nonsense before it has a chance to spread any further. I just hope your fiancé knows what he's signing himself up for.
Amelia, where are you? Where are you? I'll find you, don't worry, I'll find you. Amelia, I'll be there, I'll find you.
The 2nd of April 2015. The day I met Edward.
I was sitting in the gardens at Powderham Castle, like I did every Sunday afternoon, when suddenly...
No! Wait, stop!
Samson! Samson! Samson, come back here! I'm so sorry. Sister's dog. One word from me does whatever it wants.
As a child, I was obsessed with fairy tales. Knights, witches, princesses, adventures. I lived in my own fantasy world so much of the time. And Edward, well, he was like my very own Prince Charming. Every word he spoke, I had longed to hear. I think I fell in love with him that very day. It was like a dream come true. 3 weeks later, Edward proposed, on the very same spot where we had first met. I don't think I even let him finish his proposal. Yes, I'll marry you! And now we're getting married.
What's about a time of the business? Amelia?
Elizabeth? Are you here?
I am. And you'll be pleased to know my dress fits perfectly.
Excellent. Not planning on leaving me at the altar then?
Never. Children will find it strange, though, when I'm no longer Miss Taunton. I suppose they'll find it even stranger when I've left.
Well, if you prefer, after your school year's finished, we can give my house in Buckinghamshire to my sister. I'll move in here with you.
No! I haven't even seen the place and I'm already in love with it.
Oh, the children will get over it, I suppose.
You know, you gave me quite a fright before. I thought someone else was in the house.
You with most of the town. You know, they still haven't caught that madman yet.
But I don't understand. They say he isn't actually taking anything.
Oh, only bottles of wine. There's nothing more than a drunk.
Yeah. Well, what happened? Right. No, just wait there until I get there. Just wait there. There's been another break-in across town.
Where?
It's at a friend of mine's house, Charlie. He's been killed.
Golly.
There's someone's been seen running from Charlie's house into the wood, and they're forming a search party. I'm going to join them.
Just...
Don't worry.
Any luck with the hunt?
Still searching?
Yeah. I doubt if you'll find anything round here tonight. Too bad what happened to Charlie. Seems like there's a lot of dangerous people around here. Best stay on the good side, eh? Catch you later, alligator.
We're actually married. How do you feel?
Honestly? Relieved. I kept thinking until we took the vows, something was going to keep us apart.
Nothing is going to keep us apart. I love you.
And I love you.
You stole Amelia.
What's that?
You'll pay.
Oh, who cares, Edward?
You'll pay.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. You know the school trip I'm organising to India? Well, I was wondering if you'd like to come with us. A couple of schools of Delhi have already expressed an interest in the programme, so I thought we might go there. It would be our first adventure together.
Edward? Edward?
Ta-da! The story of Amelia and Caspero.
My love, you have returned. I am here to take you away, like I promised I would. But you are too late. This fiend Edward, he has claimed me for his own. He said not to wait, for you were nothing more than a drunken fool. What? You're already married? After we promised to be together? How dare he call me a fool? He did. He said you were the king of fools, and that I should marry him instead. A real hero. Then let us see how heroic he is, shall we?
Wokes!
Detective Wokes, it's Elizabeth Taunton again.
Well, listen, I told you, any news and you'll be the first to hear. That hasn't changed. But are you sure Edward didn't have any enemies?
Everyone loved Edward.
Well, it's just starting to seem a little strange that a grown man with no enemies would be abducted on his wedding day.
Are you suggesting he wasn't?
I'm suggesting we don't know.
And you think he ran away? On our wedding night? A madman is breaking into houses and killing people, you know. Maybe you should start with him.
And he is most certainly a suspect.
You don't know where he is either.
Not at this moment in time.
You don't know where anyone is, do you?
Look, you have my card. Anything else comes to mind, call me. Otherwise, don't.
Who are you?
They call me Caspero.
Never heard of you.
No. But you'll know my stories. Would you like to hear one? It's an autobiographical piece, you see. Once upon a time, a baron had me imprisoned because he accused me of sleeping with his wife. I had, of course, along with half the village. As punishment, the baron had his men pull out my fingernails, one by one. But you see, the twist was, it wasn't punishment at all. For I laughed the whole time. Ask me why I laughed.
Why do you laugh?
Because the pain was a glorious distraction.
Yeah? Just like your story.
Let's see if you laugh. Hero!
There's a story circulating amongst the local clergy. I assumed that it was just that, a story. You know, for visitors or to scare children.
This is about the madman, isn't it? I know that he was first spotted at your church.
They say he was a drunk, always ranting to himself and getting into fights, stealing from people's houses. There was even a warrant posted for his arrest. He was finally caught breaking into the bedroom of a young girl. The young girl's father was a powerful and ruthless man of his time, and he had the wounded drunk dragged through the back streets to be murdered. They sought to make an example of the madman. They threw him up against the doors of the town church, where they stabbed him over and over and over again. But the legend goes that they could not kill him. No matter how many times they shot or stabbed the man, he simply would not die. They say the madman threatened to curse the thugs, and so like some kind of witch, they locked him inside a stone chest within the church.
My church? And a week ago a madman broke out of a stone chest from a previously unknown cellar beneath the chapel.
But surely it's the same person.
Well, in that case, we're saying that a man can survive in a locked chest for over 200 years. Supposedly, he's sworn vengeance to the people of the town, for all those that have done him harm.
You'll pay! You'll pay!
For decades afterwards, people have been hearing the ramblings of a madman through the walls of the church.
What did the police say when you told them?
Simply that a drunkard had fallen asleep in the church at night, and that I should keep these miracle stories to myself. Fancy saying that to a priest.
I don't understand. Why Edward?
I don't know.
First of October 1812. Today I have decided to write a play about a travelling storyteller called Caspero, who entertains the world with his stories, inspiring the people he meets to follow their dreams. I suppose this would be my way of saying thank you to the man who taught me to live life as one grand adventure. Something I wish we could all learn to do. To live the lives we dream of, and to do so without fear nor trepidation.
This man with Amelia must be the same person who escaped from your church. It can't be a coincidence. He has Edward.
I think you should calm down. Whatever it means, it doesn't help us find him.
But it does suggest that the madman hasn't always been mad. That he could be talked to. Reasoned with, perhaps.
Don't even think about looking for him, Elizabeth. Whatever he was, he isn't now. Being confined in a box for 200 years, his madness will be beyond redemption. He's killed once. He could quite easily kill again.
But what if it's Edward he kills?
What if it's you? What we must do is to find things to help the police in their search.
But they're not searching. The police think Edward got cold feet about the marriage and just ran away.
No.
You're right. We should leave this to the police. They're the professionals.
I think that is a good idea.
You sure you're okay?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for telling me the truth.
It was meant as a warning, but as long as you're okay, I'll give you a call first thing in the morning.
As long as your first thing is after 9.
We'll find him.
Casparo would often talk of how one day he would take me away to the enchanting land of Narosh. And it was years later, after I had recovered from my illness, that I discovered Narosh was actually the name of a nearby forest. I couldn't help but visit the place, on a vain hope something of my dreams would turn out to be real. And on the westernmost border of the forest, I found a small cave. It was filled with half-burnt candles and empty wine bottles, along with many other peculiar items. I often wonder if it was just a coincidence, or if there was ever any truth to the mysterious man who kept me company for so long. Well, I can dream, can't I?
This is insane. Why don't you let me go? Well, there's no reason for me to be here. Why am I here?
You stole my wife!
What are you talking about? Elizabeth's never been married before. I know. Trust me.
No, but she was supposed to. She was supposed to be mine.
And you took her from me. You can't imagine the cruelty of my time. But you will.
Don't! Elizabeth!
Amelia!
Yes. Just let him go. And I'll stay.
At once.
But we said you'd give me until I'm married.
Are you not married?
Yes, but these things take time. My wife's a hostage. It's kind of holding things up.
Not my problem.
I just need more time. I've got to sort the paperwork out and you'll get all your money.
Eddie, I'm not interested. I'm here to convey a message, that's all. Okay, you ready? Here it is. Your time is up. You got that?
Yeah.
Repeat it back to me.
My time is up.
That's right. So you go home, get your finances in order, and pay what you owe. Failing that, go home, pack a bag, and try to run.
Now we said to Charlie before you killed him.
That's exactly what I said to Charlie before I killed him. I'll see you tomorrow, one way or another.
Here's my partner, champagne time.
Shut up. You told me that Elizabeth's inheritance will be released the day she's married. Well, she's married. Now, where's the money?
No, actually, what I said was the papers needed to claim the inheritance could be filled out and processed from the day Elizabeth gets married. Martha, would you be a sweetheart and pull up Elizabeth's claim on the screen, please? Eddie, I assure you, everything needed to be filled out. Our end has been filled out, but you've got to understand this inheritance is protected by some very old laws. I mean, the type of laws that protect the claims of wealthy landowners, of ancient nobles who want to pass their fortunes down through their ancestors. It can take time to crack it open.
Whatever. I want to know what's holding things up now. Now!
That would be the minister, the one who married you. His signature's the last one we need. I told you it wasn't us.
There you go. This is a marriage-based inheritance. I mean, you've got to have whoever marries you sign a declaration that they did indeed marry you. That he signs the forms, we get the money, you get your not insubstantial cut. Everyone's a winner, Eddie.
Michael.
Ah, Edward. How are you?
Can we have a talk?
Certainly, yeah. Just give me time to clear up. An hour will do.
Now, please.
Very well. Ah, yes. This mysterious inheritance that suddenly appeared. Although it's more of a trust fund, really, set up by one Amelia Talbot, who I believe is something of an idol to Elizabeth.
Yes, I believe so.
Seems strange then that Elizabeth never mentioned that she was a descendant of Amelia. I doubt she would have kept that a secret.
Well, she didn't know. None of us did. Mind you, it's not something we're unhappy about, is it?
No, of course not. It's rather a lot of money. Where is Elizabeth, by the way?
We don't know. None of us do.
In which case, I'm a little confused. Your wife is being held captive by a murderous madman, and you are simply here claiming the money rather than trying to find her.
We intend to use the money to create resources to find her.
Oh, yes. How logical. How very carefully thought out.
You did marry us, and it would be somewhat unchristian of you to pretend you didn't, wouldn't you say?
Ah, well, that's the thing. I must obey these old laws to the letter. The small print dictates that I cannot sign this declaration until the marriage is final, and as such cannot be annulled. Unfortunately, I have a sworn testament from Elizabeth, given to the police, to say that when you were first captured by this Caspero fellow, you'd only just entered your honeymoon suite, and you had not, in fact, consummated your marriage. An unconsummated marriage is open to annulment, and so, in all good faith, I cannot sign these papers.
How thorough of you.
But until then...
We'll talk about this later. When Elizabeth is found.
I sincerely hope we have that opportunity.
Came back for you.
Just like I promised.
Good sir, you should not be so presumptuous. You have been gone a long time.
It's true.
I'm so happy you've returned, but we must take things slow. How did you survive for so long?
After they locked you away.
The legend of the Storyteller. Once upon a time, a talented and carefree young man named Caspar travelled from village to village, effortlessly spinning tales of magic, adventure, romance, and revenge. And the people loved him for it.
We love you, Caspar.
Life for young Caspar was an adventure just waiting to be had. Until one day,
An evil woodland witch overheard one of Casper's stories,
and she fell instantly in love with him. The witch captured poor Casper and placed a curse upon him. The curse left Casper virtually immortal, for now his body would heal so quickly that time itself should have no effect. Pain and affliction would be merely fleeting. For you see, the witch wanted Caspar to remain exactly forever as she had met him that day. The price for this immortality was that Caspar would never be able to stop telling his stories. For that was where the witch's true love lay. His voice would never cease. His stories would be eternally spun. Seasons came and went, and all seemed lost for poor Caspar, until one day, a brave knight, raised in a nearby village, returned to free his people from the tyranny of the witch. After a long, fierce battle, she was finally slain! Caspar was now free. But the world had changed. Everyone that he had once known or loved was long dead. And the plague had arrived on Europe's doorstep. Unaffected by the murderous disease, Caspar travelled on the crest of the plague as it rode over Europe, ministering to the sick and to the dying. He used his stories as a way to comfort and distract them, and bring some joy to their final hours. Eventually, the plague passed on, leaving millions dead in its wake. But for those who remained, the legend of the Storyteller was born. Caspar became known as Caspero, and the survivors passed his tales on to their children and to their children's children. Soon, everyone in the land was telling tales of mermaids marrying princes, of princesses meeting dwarves, of red hoods, of spinners, of evil stepsisters, of beauties, loving beasts. Over time, the legend of the Storyteller was forgotten, but his stories live on. And so do I.
That's an incredible story. Truly. I have a collection of old folk tales. Some of my very favourite. Perhaps you'd like to hear them.
I would.
I hate the Brothers Grimm! They stole my stories!
These were yours.
Ruined Snow White.
Cinderella. Red Riding Hood.
There were 8 dwarves. What did they have against Stumpy?
Caspero, be quiet.
My father, he told me all kinds of lies after you were imprisoned. I didn't know what to believe. I'm truly sorry to ask this, but can you remind me how we first met?
Doesn't surprise me. You were so ill at the time. I'd become naught but a drunken fool, fighting, scratching, biting, breaking into people's houses to steal their wine. Pain and alcohol. The only 2 things that numb the urge, the need to tell stories. And I broke into your house looking for both. Instead, I found you. You were on the verge of death. It was like you'd been abandoned. You hadn't been fed for days. You were too weak to even lift yourself to drink. It was like you'd been left there to die. And seeing you like that, it resurrected my caring instincts. And I cared for nothing in a long time. So I returned, night after night, week after week. And I told you my stories. I told you my stories until you slept soundly, sometimes even till you awoke the next morning. Your resilience, your strength astounded me. I don't know when I fell in love with you, but I did. I even gave up drinking most nights, just so I could care for you the better. And slowly, little by little, the fever began to fade. Your intelligence, your wit began to shine through. The last night that I saw you, you asked me to take you away, anywhere, just as long as we were together. And then your father walked in. And he knew, I knew, he had left his daughter to die. And he intended that no one would find out. And so I was locked away for a long time. Amelia died a long time ago. And so once again, I am the fool.
No. No, you're not. No knight, prince, or king would do for Amelia what you did. You are above them all. I know that, even if no one else does.
And who are you?
I'm...
You're just like the rest of them. Here to laugh at the freak, to jeer at the fool.
No!
How dare you impersonate Amelia to me?
I'm sorry. Go on. Something tells me you didn't enjoy that.
But I'm sure you'll recover.
Oh, golly.
Real or not, Caspero was there for me when nobody else was. Without him, I surely would not have survived the illness. It was he who inspired me, first by capturing my imagination, and then by capturing my heart. Imaginary he may have been, but I loved him nonetheless. A part of me always will. Caspero inspired me to follow my dreams by becoming an actress. And I am eternally grateful to have met him. Even now, I find myself wondering if he had been real, what would he be like today?
Elizabeth. What happened?
I escaped. He was angry. We could be in danger.
Everything's gonna be okay, I promise.
I just don't think we should stay here tonight.
What are you talking about? This is technically our wedding night. Ah, no, we should stay. And enjoy it.
What on earth is wrong with you? I need to call the police.
You're absolutely right. Tomorrow morning, first thing, we'll call the police. Something wonderful's happened.
What?
You've been left an inheritance fund, which we can claim after you're married.
I can... What?
Elizabeth, you've been left a great deal of money. And in the morning we can claim it, don't you see? Everything's gonna be okay.
Well, let's just deal with one thing at a time, okay?
You look beautiful.
I doubt that very much.
No, really. I've missed you. Look, let's just relax, Elizabeth. Forget about our problems till tomorrow. Just be with each other tonight.
Edward, you're hurting me.
Elizabeth, I love you. I just want to protect you. Let's get you out of this dress.
Edward! Edward, stop it! Hello? Detective Oakes. It's Elizabeth Thornton. I'm home and I need your help. Please, can you just... Can you just...
Elizabeth? Elizabeth.
Go away! I don't want to see you ever again!
Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I'm sorry. Look, there's things I can't tell you right now. You're just gonna have to trust me. Please open the door.
The police are on their way!
Okay. Very well. You stupid, deluded little girl. I never loved you. Without the money, you're nothing to me.
Thank you.
I don't believe I've had the pleasure. My name is Michael.
They call me Caspero. You'll have to forgive me, priest. My last visit here was indefinite.
Yes, well, new building, new management. We have a somewhat larger room for you, should you so need it. Consider it the beginning of the debt to which this church owes you, and one to which I intend to honour.
Michael, you ready?
Yes, sir, coming. Apologies, Caspero. Please, stay as long as you wish.
Dear Caspero, I hope you are well, and that one day this letter finds its way to you. I understand why you disappeared that night. You are still a wanted man for breaking into all those houses, and I'm sure you've spent enough time in confined spaces to last 100 lifetimes. Edward, thankfully, did not avoid prison. His lifetime of breaking the law finally caught up with him. Because of you.
Safe to say, there was no big house in Buckinghamshire. Edward, or Eddie as he was more commonly known, was nothing more than a travelling conman. Even his dog was stolen. All part of an elaborate plan to convince me he was the perfect gentleman. Looking back, I can't believe how easily I was fooled. It was 2 months after the trial that I finally received my inheritance. I believe I have Michael to thank for that. And you. You saved my life, Caspero. You are a hero, whether you admit it or not. And I thank you so much for what you did for me. I won't lie. At first, I did use the money to treat myself, to realise some of my own dreams. Honestly, I felt I deserved it. But when I returned to England, I want you to know I put the money to good use. I founded my own school, the all-new Amelia Talbot Academy for girls, for young orphans like I once was. I hope that Amelia would have approved. I have a daughter of my own now, and she loves your stories just as much as I did. Just as much as Amelia did. They're timeless, Caspero. Like you. And yes, that does mean I'm married now. To a real husband this time. He may not be a knight or an immortal storyteller, but he makes me feel amazing. And I love him. I hope one day, maybe,
I'll get your blessing. Michael thinks we probably shouldn't communicate directly. At least, not while you're still a wanted man. Maybe he's right, but I long to see you again. And so, my address is at the top of this letter. If you ever wish to visit, you would be warmly welcomed. You will always have a home here. Love, Elizabeth.
Bastards! I'll find them. Owe me money. They'll pay. They'll all pay. I'll find them. I'll find them all. Money. Disney!